Hey, Dan Meyer here, and I'm back once again with 5 more tips on what you can do to grow your business. Based on my experience as being in business for over 20 years, this is what I've done and what I continue to do that has made me very successful. It's also what I share with my clients, allowing them to become even more successful. So these are 5 tips today based around the topic of getting more focused, of stay focused more often. These are the 5 things that I say are non-negotiable that you have to do to be successful. And these are things that you should not only just do yourself, but you also want to be empowering people that work for you to be able to own some of this as well, right? So these are the 5 tips. Now, number 1 is the super most important tip. Of all the tips I've given on YouTube over the last couple of years, this is maybe the most important tip. And it's one of the simplest. Don't take unscheduled calls. It just throws your day off. When people call you and they're like, oh my God, I need to talk to you right now. Unless it's a super emergency that you really, really need to take, make them wait till tomorrow. I mean, it may be important to them, but that doesn't mean that's important to you. And you have to get people used to the idea of respecting the fact that you're a busy person, that you do a lot, that you can't just drop everything and pick up a call, especially if it's going to be something that's not really going to lead to immediate benefit to you. Think about this. I'll give you an example. I got a call today from a guy I've been speaking with for months about having a virtual assistant. We have a conversation. We're at an event. We talk together. He says, hey, I want to do business with you. I need a virtual assistant. I got all these things I want to do, but I'm so busy. All right, we'll schedule a time. We schedule a time and we have the call and it's like, okay, we're going to do this and this and this and this. And then boom, it should be as simple as the next day we start the process, signs a contract, gets a virtual assistant, do a Zoom call, off and running, boom. But it doesn't happen because he keeps, getting too busy. He keeps being, in a sense, flaky because he keeps having other priorities higher than speaking with me. So when he calls me after like multiple times of having conversations and says, hey, I want to talk right now, what do? I don't take the call. I let it go to voicemail. I wait about an hour. Then I text back saying, hey, I'm really busy today. Love to schedule a time with you tomorrow. Now, some people may say this is a bad idea. Some people may say take every call. When I was first in business, in fact, I would have taken every call. My first year in business, I went to every single Starbucks in Manila, I think, on business meetings when I was trying to get my brand growing my brand in the Philippines. And it was a waste of time. And most of those calls or those meetings went nowhere. Point being, long story short, don't take unscheduled calls. Force people to schedule time with you ahead of time and stick to it. Unless it's a super VIP client and it's a super urgent issue, or of course if it's a family emergency, take the call. But if it's not, make them wait because they need to respect your time. They need to respect your business. If they don't, they're going to be a really tough client to work with. I could really draw a very clear line between difficult clients to onboard and difficult clients to maintain. And the clients that are easy to onboard are the ones that usually last a long time because they're organized, they have an idea what they're doing, they're committed to having a common goal, they're professional, they're on time. When that doesn't happen, bad sign. So it all starts with that unscheduled call. Don't take it. Number 2, tell people no more often. I tend to say yes to everyone on the surface because I think anything is possible. But I draw a line. When people take advantage of it, when they're taking too much and not getting anything back in return, I start saying no. Sometimes I say no up front because I can see a train wreck a mile away. I've been doing this long enough to have a sense that when I see a certain kind of client come through the door and they're just disorganized, they don't respect time, they're rude, I'm not going to set up one of my VAs as someone that's going to be like that. I don't want one of my virtual assistants to have to work for a jerk. So I'm not going to take that jerk on as a client, no matter how much they offer, and no matter how cool of a client they're going to be. I'm really going to be skeptical. And if I'm going to take them on, I'm going to set clear expectations. I'm going to tell them we're going to say no to this. We're not going to be able to do this. We're going to keep you in this box because if we don't stay in that box, it's not going to work. So saying no is hard to do, especially if you're new to a business. Like I never said no to any meeting I could have in the Philippines my first year, and I didn't say no to a lot of the first virtual assistant clients I took on. Both those told me after failure that I should be better at saying no and picking and choosing who I say yes to. The longer I've been in business, the easier it gets to say no. So I realize that if you're new to business, it's not easy, but you've got to think about in the future, I would say no to this and then do it. Number 3, schedule everything. A lot of people use calendar apps to schedule them, and I don't, and I'll tell you why in a second. But the bottom line is calendar apps help you schedule your time. Now, I'm an old school Excel user, and this is just my little thing. I use Excel to schedule my time. I have a to-do list and a calendar that I look at multiple times a day. I go to bed every night. I look at it before I go to bed. And first thing I look at when I wake up in the morning, after I, do a few other things, when I first start working for the day, the first thing I do is open that calendar. It's my to-dos as well as my meetings, and it keeps me very organized. And I'm able to have very productive days almost every day. I don't use a calendar app though, because it goes back to number one. Don't give people the power to schedule your time. Taking unscheduled calls throws you off your game. But so does having to have a meeting in the middle of a very productive day where you're doing several important things and stopping all that to take a call that somebody scheduled 2 weeks ago because you have a calendar app and you like to block off your time. Some people say it's a bad idea, but for me, I schedule my time. I know my schedule well enough. I use my spreadsheet. I have it with me everywhere I go, so it's easy to see when I can schedule time. I rarely overbook myself. I almost never forget a meeting. This is all because I'm just really organized. But the bottom line is I schedule everything, and you should too. And if you want to use a calendar app to do that, go ahead. If you want to use a project management tool like Trello or Monday or Asana, great idea. Use technology in some way. I use Excel because I'm just an old Excel guy, but basically use something to help you structure things. Number 4, eat and sleep on time. I cannot stress the importance of this, especially if you're over 40 and especially if you're definitely over 50 like I am. You need quality sleep. Even if it's not a lot of sleep, it has to be quality sleep. It has to be consistent, right? I get about 5 to 6 hours of sleep a night. And on days when I don't get that, I usually drag. And if it goes a couple days in a row where I don't get a lot of sleep, I'm really not that productive. But if I get 5 or 6 hours of sleep every night, if I go to bed, before midnight and get up around 6 or 7, and somewhere in that time frame I sleep very well. And I use a Fitbit to track my sleep so I can kind of like help myself plan my sleep. I know if I'm not getting good sleep, I got to change my behavior because my Fitbit will tell me I'm not getting enough sleep. I look at that and it tells me, okay, I'm getting plenty of good quality sleep. Then I feel good about myself. And when I don't, then I make changes. Also eating, right? I make a green juice every morning, right? Kale, celery, apples, cucumbers, ginger. Every morning I take that green juice. I drink a lot of kombucha. I do things to keep my gut, my intestines, and my immunity all healthy. I make sure that I eat, quality meals. I don't overeat. I don't eat out too much. I cook at home a lot. These are important because, again, they help you maintain consistency. As a person, you need to sleep and eat on time. It will help you. It's really super about focus because it's all about focus, right? Keeping focus on what you're doing, but not allowing interruptions. By scheduling things out in advance, by blocking off time, by telling people no more often, and by getting good eat and sleep, you will maintain your focus. This is how I do it. The last thing I'll say about how to stay focused more often is do what's best for you. If you do too much of what's not good for you, if you don't like doing it, it's bad for your health. It causes you to not sleep well. You overeat. It causes a lot of stress. You have to exercise as well. You have to do what's best for you. I didn't put that with eat and sleep, but I should have. Make sure you exercise every day. I use my Fitbit to walk 10,000 steps every day. Really, really try hard to motivate myself to walk 10,000 steps. And if it's like, in the evening, I'm only like 8,000, 9,000 steps, I'll go walk around the block a couple times before I sleep just to get to that 10,000 steps. That's what's best for me, right? I need to stay healthy, right? I learned a while ago that the most important factor in my success is me being able to work every day. As an entrepreneur and a business owner, there are days I don't work a lot, but every day I'm thinking about business. It's just what you do if you're really, really good at what you do. And so you have to be able to do that. And it has to be things you're good at, right? I'm really good at making sense of numbers, taking complicated data sets and breaking them down for people to understand how to use. I'm really good at using tools to do that quicker, faster, better, stronger, with more power. I do the same with virtual staff. I'm really good at figuring out what someone in their business needs and finding the right person who has the right skill set to help them. It doesn't always work, because sometimes the people just don't know what they really want and they change too much and they're just not easy to work with. And occasionally the VA doesn't have the right skill set and it's just a mismatch. But 90% of the time, at least 90% of the time, it's a good match, and that VA adds a lot of value to that business because I know what I'm good at. So that's basically it for today. That's my 5 tips on how to stay more focused more often, how to increase your focus. You got to eat and you got to exercise, you got to walk, you got to get out there, you got to do things, you got to sleep. You got to say no. You got to not take unscheduled calls. You got to make sure you block off and schedule your time, and you want to focus on what you do best. That's why you hire a virtual assistant to do all the rest. You focus on what you do best. You hire us a Sonic VA to do all the rest. So that's my video for today. Thank you so much. I hope these tips helped. If you haven't, please subscribe below. Feel free to drop a comment, and I will be back again soon with 5 more tips on what you can do to be even more successful in your business. That's it for today. Thanks a lot. Get out there and have an amazing day.